Alright, well, welcome back to another video. Last time we did a top 10 video. It was really popular, so we figured we'd do another top 10. So this time we're going to do a top 10 of the Royal Princess on our cruise to Alaska. We recently went on a cruise, did a 7-day cruise on the Inside Passage. A lot of fun. So let's start a top 10. Ready?
Ready.
Alright. Number 10 of the things that we did like, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things we didn't like at the end. But number 10...
So these are positives.
was...
The good.
The photo guys not bugging you.
Yeah. So the photos are still available just like any cruise I've ever been on, but I didn't feel bombarded. There have been cruises that I've absolutely loved that you had to walk through, like they would set up in a gauntlet almost, like you had to walk through it and you had to say no, no, no. This was avoidable if you wanted to, or available if you wanted it. So I thought that was the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, you just didn't feel harassed.
Yeah, if I wanted to join in, yay. And if I didn't, I didn't. There were some pictures. We don't generally get the professional pictures, but there were pictures where they came, there's a large group of us, they came into pictures of the 13 of us dining. We did end up purchasing some of those larger family pictures, but I didn't feel harassed in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, that was pretty refreshing, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So number 9, we kept going back and forth, but the food in general was really good. Now, we've done a lot of cruises. We used to be big buffet people when we first started cruising. We don't do the buffets as much. We'll do it a couple times just to see if it's decent. I thought the food on the buffet was decent, but we honestly kept gravitating to the main dining room. Main dining room on the Royal Princess I thought was really good. I was pretty impressed compared to some other ships we've been on recently. Also, we did do Alfredo's. We did the Crown Grill. We did International Cafe, the Trident Grill, Prego Pizzeria. All those places, I thought the food was really good. So I was pretty impressed.
And back to the buffet, there wasn't anything wrong with it if you like the buffet. The buffet, for me, in my opinion, is a little bland. It has a lot of selection. It was very clean. It was nice. It just isn't...
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't excite me that much, at least what I choose.
I will say, I thought the selection, the amount of things you could get at the buffet on the Royal Princess was a lot better than, you know, some of the other cruise lines we've been on recently. So I did like that.
Yeah.
So... All right, number 8. This was something Melissa really liked. Is just getting drinks was not a fiasco, I guess.
So again, as we mentioned, we had a large family. We had one person using a cane to walk. On some other cruise lines, particularly an alcoholic beverage, each individual would have to go get it, or your bartender or server would, come around and serve you. But there were times where we were opting for some of the more crowded locations. Maybe it was taking a long time for a server, so we would just go up to the bar and get a drink. I was able to get that family member drinks because we were in the same cabin, and it appeared, I don't know if this is their policy, but it appeared that they would just look us up by cabin, see that we all had the drink package, and then just apply it to the cabin, versus on some other cruise lines, it was each drink individually with your name on it. You had to sign for it. So for this particular cruise, that was so much more convenient. The family member could have got up and got their own drink, but it just was inconvenient for them. So it was easier for me to do it, or to go take a round of drinks to the table that I was sitting with at the time.
I really liked the way they were doing it. It was pretty nice. All right, number 7, and for Melissa especially, this might be too low, but the pizza plus the burgers. The pizza and burgers were really, really good. You know, I've heard many times Princess has got the best pizza. I'll tell you, man, I was pretty impressed. I liked the thin crust pizza. It was really good up on the Lido deck, but also Alfredo's pizza was really, really good as well. And the burgers at Trident Grill was really good, but I'll tell you...
No, we haven't gotten there yet. Oh, well, yeah, we have. We already told them. Okay, you can tell them.
The burgers at the main dining room for lunch, man, I thought it was really good. I forget what they called it. It was like the Princess Burger or something like that. It was really good. But overall, the pizza and the burgers were really good.
And on the Lido deck, I'll be honest, I really didn't wait. I mean, several
the Trident Grill.
times and even for the pizza.
Yeah.
There might be one person in front of you or something, but yet the food was always prepared right when you were there. It was hot, it was warm, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought, like, you know, we always get the pizza on Carnival or Royal Princess or stuff like that. Not Royal Princess, Royal Caribbean. And the pizza's really good both on those cruise lines as well. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, depending on the time of day or whatever, you did wait a while. Mm-hmm. I felt like the wait was hardly
I didn't
on the
wait.
Royal Princess. So that was really nice as well.
Yeah.
All right, number 6. This one was really surprising to me. But the International Cafe, man, I really liked that place. 24 hours, which I really liked. But all the things they had was really good. The coffee was really good. I tell you, late at night, after a few drinks, I would always go to the International Cafe, and they had a cheeseburger pot pie. And I'm telling you, you got to get the cheeseburger pot pie. This thing is amazing. It kind of tastes like a sloppy Joe in a pot pie. Oh, I don't know how many of those things I ate. It was
Well, it was a 7-night cruise, so I'm gonna go with 7.
It was really good. But overall, International Cafe, the donuts in the morning, we'd get them every now and then, was really good. I was impressed, and you didn't really wait that long there. They would have a little bit of a line compared to pizza or whatever, but it wasn't that bad.
And the good thing that they did at the International Cafe, first of all, not only is it 24/7, which on this traditional type cruise is a harder thing to find than maybe some other cruise lines that are kind of party cruise lines. But this was awesome. It really fit the bill. There were, oftentimes I got up earlier than everybody else. I wanted my coffee really early and the rest of the group wasn't ready, and we were going to the main dining room or something for breakfast, but I'd have an early cup of coffee or out late with him, and we'd have a late night snack or whatever we'd have. The mornings, they would separate between the snack line and the coffee line. So there could be a little bit of a wait in the coffee line, but they were brewing it for you while you waited, so it was fine.
Yeah.
Like your warm milk and stuff in your lattes.
Yeah.
And you could get, I'm watching what I eat, except didn't really on the cruise, but kind of did. You could get almond milk, you could get soy milk, you could get coconut, you could get all the milks, that if you didn't do dairy. But the food line, there was never a wait for the food.
No, it was really nice.
Yeah.
All right, so number 5, Alfredo's. I will say on the Royal Princess, I didn't feel like there was a lot of specialty dining or additional dining, but Alfredo's definitely was really good. The calzones, the pizza. I kept ordering, there was some weird name for them, but these little pasta pockets, they're kind of like raviolis, but had veal and Parmesan in them. I could eat those things every day. They were amazing. But overall, and you didn't really have to wait too long. There was one time, I think it was for lunch, maybe midway through the cruise, that there was like a 30 or 40 minute wait. But usually, we only had to wait 5 or 10 minutes and get seated, so it was nice. And what's really nice about Alfredo's, it's already included in your fare. It's not additional for specialty dining or whatever. So really liked it, and I thought the customer service was really good. They were very accommodating to anything we needed. Seemed like every time we would go to Alfredo's, one of our family members would show up later on, and they would like, hey, well, let's put a seat in for you, and then they didn't make a big deal about it. So overall, I thought Alfredo's was really good.
2 things to that is he did like those, whatever we're calling them, those veal
pockets,
whatever they were.
I don't know.
And did have them frequently. And he likes bread with stuff like that, and it wasn't necessarily on the menu, and he just asked, hey, is it possible to get some dinner rolls or yeast rolls or garlic bread? I don't know what you asked for. And they're like, absolutely. And so he was able to do that every time he went in there, which was really nice. The second piece that is nice, it could be a pro or a con. For us, it was a pro, is that a lot of the entertainment's done in the piazza, and the piazza is one level down, and it gets crowded down there, and so you can't always get a seat. If you like the music that's going on in the piazza, you can go up to Alfredo's and eat and still generally hear it.
Yeah.
And so for us, that was nice, particularly if it was music we liked. We could hear it while we were sitting there, and
it was really nice.
Yeah, we didn't feel like we were missing out, but yet we were having our meal, and it was good.
Yeah, and also a lot of the tables had some really good views of the ocean. I really liked that as well. We saw dolphins one time when we were sitting there eating, so it was really cool.
Yeah, you almost choke on your food, and you're like, dolphins! Or whales. People saw whales.
Somebody would kind of freak out a little bit.
A little bit.
When we saw an animal.
A little bit. It was cool. That's what I was going on that cruise for.
All right, so number 4 was the ship layout. I really liked how it was laid out. Really easy to get everywhere. Some of these big cruise ships you get on, it's easy to get lost. You got to go up to go down and all those things. I think there was one time
Only
you
one
had to
time
do that on
to do
the
that.
Royal Princess, but overall the ship layout was very simple, very easy to get everywhere you wanted.
I can't remember. I'm horrible with names. The name of where the wine tasting was, but that was
It's one of the dining rooms.
that was the only time
Yeah.
that we had to do one of those, like, you go to 7 and come back down to 6. And
Yeah.
other than that, you could get around and navigate pretty easily.
Really easy to get everywhere you wanted. So I really like that as well. So number 3, and this is kind of specific to going on an Alaskan cruise, is the balcony. We got a balcony room. Well, somebody got a balcony room, and I had some kids with me, and I had the interior room, but I can't. Your room.
Everyone but you. So we had a group of rooms. Everyone but
Yeah.
him. He went interior, and all the rest of us went balcony. And
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, you know, you hear a lot of debate about going on an Alaskan cruise. Should you get a balcony, or is it worth it? You know, you can go on the top deck and see everything. Yeah, you can see everything if you go on the top deck, but it's so convenient to just have a balcony room to go in and out, to sit around, relax. You're with your loved ones.
Well, and
Yeah, you got to get a balcony room on an Alaskan cruise.
I agree. And I mean, if you absolutely cannot afford it and the only way you can go is not get one, go.
Yeah, you'll still have a good
fine.
time.
You'll still have a great time. But if you're able to sneak that one in on Alaskan, I would say do it, because what I found, we've been on so many cruises and we've had balconies almost every single time. When we're in the Caribbean, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love balconies then too, but I don't necessarily see the wildlife. I don't randomly see a mountain or an island or something as we go by.
Yeah.
Alaska, you do. In Alaska, we might be in our room changing for dinner, and again, we had full cabins, so we were taking turns in the bathroom, and one person's in the bathroom changing, doing whatever they're doing, and another person says, whale! And then, everybody runs out, and you do. You'll see a whale tail, or you'll see, we saw porpoises
Otters.
or dolphins. We think they were porpoises. We saw otters. We saw whale
eagles.
tails. We saw bald eagles. I mean, and some of that was, you will see it at Glacier Bay and other places as well, but we just saw it in the midst of, getting
all
ready
the
for
time.
dinner.
It was all the time. And then it was funny. We were all texting each other like, oh, get on your balcony. You
Yeah.
gotta see this. So it was pretty cool. I would definitely recommend getting a balcony room. I do think a balcony room has a little more weight to it compared to a Caribbean cruise or somewhere else. So
I agree. I
All
agree.
right. Number 2, and this really goes also to an Alaskan cruise as well, is, and we kind of alluded to it already, is just the wildlife that you see on an Alaskan cruise. It was so amazing. We saw so much, and like Melissa said, it's like it was constantly happening. So it was really cool. Really, I would say 6 days out of the 7-day cruise, we saw some kind of
Something.
whales or dolphins or something. Really cool.
We have 2 people out of our 13 that claim they saw a bear and a goat. The majority of
I
us
don't
did
know.
not see those, unfortunately, but
I
all
don't
the rest of it we all saw. I don't know.
But it was really cool. This is one of the reasons you go on an Alaskan cruise, to see all this different wildlife, but also to kind of go hand in hand with that is just Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay was amazing.
Phenomenal.
The views you get, and I'll tell you, video, photos, it just doesn't give it justice. You have to be there to really see it. It's so inspiring. It's just so beautiful. So kind of hand in hand, the wildlife plus Glacier Bay and all the different things like that.
So I want to add to that, because I shared some stuff on my personal social media page, and people that, I have friends from all around the world, but I have a lot that live in the South. We used to live in Florida for years. Their first inclination when they'd see our Glacier Bay photos were, oh, it's too cold. That particular day was cold. For us, we had a June vacation. We had really reasonable temperatures for Alaska for June. Yes, you're going to bundle up on Glacier Bay Day, but I mean, it only
Wasn't
logically
bad.
makes sense. The glaciers are going to melt. If it's any warmer, you're not going to see them.
It wasn't bad,
that
though.
particular day, we are bundled up. But we did not bundle up any of the rest of the time like that.
Yeah, and we'll have a video here shortly about kind of what to pack for and what to wear. But we we were lucky. We had really good weather. I think maybe the first day or second day, I can't remember. There was one day where there was a little bit of rain, but overall, man, the weather was great. It wasn't as cold as we expected it to be. So yeah, we'll have a video coming out soon. I'll go into a little more detail with that. All right, number one, and this goes hand in hand. Just being on an Alaskan cruise with the Princess. The itinerary. I mean, we hit all the things we wanted to hit, including Glacier Bay. 7 days we were in Skagway, Ketchikan, Juneau, Victoria. We also did a couple days in Seattle. Overall, it was a really good itinerary. I would definitely recommend doing it. I do think the Seattle closed loop cruise is decent. Especially if you've never gone to Alaska, I would definitely recommend it. But overall, the itinerary was amazing. We loved it. Ready to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Loved it. Like you said, we spent a few days in Seattle, which was great. The actual cruise itinerary. And I'll tell you, Victoria was beautiful. Like, I was not expecting to like Victoria, Canada as much as I did. So that was just an added bonus onto the trip as well. And then we returned to Seattle and we stayed another day in Seattle. So that worked for us. But
yeah, it was really great.
It wasn't even just Alaska, which was breathtaking and the whole purpose of the trip. But even those kind of outside places were great too.
All right. So with all that said, there's a few things we did not like or didn't care for while on this cruise. Now, I'll be the first to say these things didn't hold me back to say I'd never do this cruise again. I would definitely do this cruise again. But there was a few things that they need to improve on. So, the first thing, and I was so surprised by this, the heat. What I'm going to tell you is, on this cruise, on the ship, I don't know what they were doing, but they cranked up the heat, man. It was so hot. I was constantly sweating on the ship. It was so hot. I don't know what the heck was going on. I know we're in Alaska and I know it's colder, but inside, guys, let's use some common sense. It was so hot.
Well, it affected what we all packed because logically, and we live in Ohio, so we understand cold. Logically, if it's cold enough outside to wear some sort of light sweater, you can also wear that on an inside environment. This didn't work there. If I had to go out on my balcony or something, maybe I did need a light sweater or a light jacket. But when I came inside, I wanted a summer dress on. It was so hot.
Yeah, when I'm going to dinner, I'd wanted to get a t-shirt and shorts, man. It was so hot. There was one time at the Crown Grill, we were having dinner, and it was a great dinner. I had to leave to go outside to cool off a little bit. It was so hot.
And even in my packing, the things I intentionally packed for Seattle, because Seattle was hot, I ended up wearing on the cruise to dinner because I was so hot. And crazy. I'm almost always cold. So if I was hot, it was hot. It was hot.
Scorching hot.
It was scorching hot on the cruise.
I don't know what was going on, if there was a problem with the heater or
No,
what.
I don't think there was a problem.
Oh
I think their thought process is...
Guys, bring the heat down a little bit.
I think that it was the average age of the clientele or something. They thought that they had to, but it was scorching.
It was
scorching
horrible.
hot. Yeah.
All right, so number 2, the embarkation and debarkation, I was pretty surprised by. It was chaos.
It was horrible.
Now, listen, we got on the ship. It took a little bit of time. It wasn't that bad on the amount of time it took you, but it was very confusing and chaotic for both embarkation and debarkation. I've been on other cruise lines. It's way more smoother than what we dealt with. I don't know if it's just Seattle, but man, I did not like that at all. And the folks that are working at the terminal outside, I don't think they're They're
not the
Princess.
royal people.
I think they're for Seattle or whatever. Man, they were mean.
They were rude. I got yelled at a few times because I was crossing the street, but...
We didn't know where to go.
Right, because it was just chaos. And again, we're world travelers. We've lived in
everywhere.
multiple countries. We've lived around the world. We know how to travel. But it was chaotic and a little bit rude. We had several first-time cruisers, so I feel really sad that was their first impression.
We really had to keep them going.
Can I talk without you talking over top of me? Really sad that was their first impression. I hope it doesn't discourage them from going on some other cruises, because on the East Coast, or at least the Caribbean cruises, it's not like that at all. No. This was just herds of people and yelling, and you couldn't follow the commands necessarily. You just had to go with the flow and then just be ready for your lashing when you got it.
Debarkation was almost even worse because we were going to get on our lift to get back to our hotel because we were going to stay an extra day in Seattle before flying out. So they had to take us to the line to get the ride share because they drove you to where you had to pick up a Lyft or an Uber or whatever.
It's walkable, but not for the group we had.
You almost had to be, it was like gladiator days, man. You had to fight people for your spot. People were trying to cut through you. We had a large group of people. I had a ton of luggage that I had to herd through. And man, there was people like just going past you, and it was like everybody was trying to fight to get on the bus. So somebody needed to be a little assertive there and kind of tell everybody where to stand and where to go. It was a little confusing.
And again, we had a large age gap. So human courtity. We had elderly and we had children. You don't push people around or jump in line and get in front, cut them off because too bad, you're slower than me. And that was really the mentality. Crazy. It just was a little...
I kind of had to be rude back to people to keep everybody together. Now, it was crazy.
In Royal's defense, is that Royal's problem?
Or Princess.
Or Princess. I'm doing it too. Is that Princess's problem? Maybe not, because maybe that is just a Seattle issue.
I don't know.
But it was still something we lived through, and if it's your very first cruise, just know they're not all like that.
Yeah. All right, the last thing we wanted to talk about, and you've probably heard this before, their app. Not a fan of their app. It's a little bit slow, it lags a little bit, it can be confusing on where to go, especially, not for me, but especially for first-time cruisers. We had, like Melissa said, we had some first-time cruisers on this cruise, and they were constantly calling me or texting me saying, hey, where do I go? I don't see where to go on this app or to do this, and it was a lot of tutorials trying to help people figure out where you go to do all your travel information and set up things and reservations and all those things. I was not a fan of the app. It can be way more simplified. It's too confusing.
The app, in theory, should be fabulous. It has a chat feature. It has everything you need on it. But we just didn't see an execution that it is working quite the way they thought it would. Two things that happened to us in particular is we have a travel agent or travel agents, but him more than me, on the ship with us. He had to work. I mean, there were things he had to do the first few days to fix issues and problems, like silly things, but he had to fix them. And these were things that we had communicated and thought we had done correctly in the app. The app didn't seem to really communicate with the staff on the ship. And some things just would cross over and just get missed. I had another piece to that. Oh, I know. The other thing that was a little bit confusing is this app is sold to you as being all your convenience, all your information, everything's right there. And then the thing that seemed the most ridiculous to me is you go in to look at, like, what are the main dining room hours or what's Alfredo's hours, and none of the hours are in the app.
The hours are not on the app. You have to get the little paper that the room steward gives you every day to see the hours on things. I don't understand why you would have the hours. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Why do you not have the hours on the app? Because that's what a lot of people are going to go back to see, okay, it was 8 o'clock. Well, what's open? Let me see. Right. I didn't understand that. Well,
because it required you to then have your phone and carry around that dumb piece of paper just to figure stuff out. Yeah. So one or the other. Like, either give me paper or give me the app, but having a little bit of both was, I just expected a little bit more out of Princess, or at least the idea of what I thought Princess was going to be, and they just hadn't hit the mark yet.
We got to improve the app.
But would I go back and get on the ship tomorrow?
100%.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I would be right back on there in a second.
Yeah, overall, we had a great time. Mm-hmm. It was so much fun. We saw so many things. Great experience. Definitely would book a Royal Princess cruise again. Just those few things, you know.
Royal Princess
we needed to bring it up. Princess. Okay. Did I say Royal Princess?
You did. We both keep doing it because of Royal Caribbean, and it just comes out.
So overall, we would definitely book on Princess again, the Royal Princess especially, for the Alaskan 7-day cruise. So, with that said, please like and subscribe. Let us know if you have any feedback or questions. Thanks for watching.
Bye.